For these protesters in Buenos Aires, the cash-strapped government must choose between the people and paying off its debt. The country's new president, Alberto Fernandez, swept into power at the end of last year, riding anger like this about the economy. Since Fernandez took office vowing to restore growth and redistribute wealth, the IMF has acknowledged the country's outstanding loans are unsustainable.
Parecía que no teníamos nada, pero tenemos razón.
It seemed like we had nothing, but we were right, and they told us we were right. And for the first time in history, the fund recognized that. And for the first time in Argentina's history, we told them this time, let us make the exit plan. And they told us to go for it.
Y nos dijeron háganlo.
His predecessor, Mauricio Macri, made a deal with the IMF for a 3-year, $50 billion credit line back in 2018. That deal has been on hold, though, since Macri lost to Fernandez in last year's election. The new government has agreed to start consultations with the IMF, but that's still a long way from a new financing program.
Once they've got the IMF seal of approval, they can use that in their debt negotiations with the creditors. The creditors are going to want to be sure that if they're restructuring the debt or they're reprofiling the debt, that there's an economic plan behind it that has a chance of delivery.
4 años.
Vice President Cristina Fernandez de Kirchner, who's also a former president, says Argentina won't repay even half a cent of its IMF debt until the economy is out of recession. According to the World Bank, though, Argentina's economy will shrink again in 2020, putting more pressure on the IMF negotiations. Giles, Gibson, CGTN, Washington.